So Bronny, anyway, he played, I think it was 16, 17 minutes. He had 4 points, couple boards, made a 3. He was 1 for 3 from the field. All his shots were from deep, couple assists. Here's the one thing that stood out to me, Robbie, is, and it always has with him. The dude just plays with poise. He moves the ball. He makes all the right plays.
Well, he's got a high basketball IQ and then a motor.
Yes. And again, he got it from his dad. Like, clearly, you can just see him in the way, like, a guy playing in their first college game is going to be a little bit, like, jittery or trying to do too much or nerve. Like, there was zero of that with Bronny James. Like, it looked like he was a senior in terms of his composure and poise and decision-making and making people better. Now, again, he missed the key free throw at the end that might have been able to win the game. But man, he's a really good blender is kind of the way I describe him to people, because he just does everything well, but nothing elite.
Yeah. And I think that the expectations for him are, our podcast with Jeffrey Jordan on that was so interesting, because I think Jeffrey could speak on that better than anybody. I mean, him and Marcus Jordan would know. But his dad has not probably helped the expectations, where he's talking about wanting to play with Bronny. And look, of course he does. Like, what dad doesn't want their kid to be in the NBA? They all do. It just happens to be that his dad is the best player in the league currently still, which is incredible. Then he's 37 years old. I don't know. The expectations are going to be crazy for him, but it's good to see him on the floor after what happened. It sounds like it could have been really, really bad. So kudos to the people at USC for doing their jobs in that regard. But pretty cool to see him back out there cleared. And hopefully, I'm sure he hasn't played a ton of basketball either. A lot, like the free throw thing, a lot of that's rhythm. Have you been playing? And he hasn't. I mean, how could he? He hasn't been medically cleared until a week or two ago. So I'm thrilled to see him out there. And USC kind of a rough start though. Aren't they 5-4?
Yeah, and obviously, one of the reasons why he's going to be a role guy on this year's team is because they have Boogie Ellis, a fifth-year guy, and then you got Isaiah Collier, who's potentially in the mix for the number 1 overall pick, and Kobe Johnson, a terrific defender, big win.
How are they 5-4?
I know. Well, because Collier has had his struggles. He doesn't shoot it great, and his turnovers are high, really high, more turnovers than assists so far. So they got to cut down on that. But listen, my one thing, and I'll be curious to see what you think of this. Obviously, like you alluded to before, LeBron wants to play with his kid, and you don't blame him. He's turning 39 later this month.
And he was just balling in that in-season tournament.
He's got more than 1 year left, Rob. Like next year.
I mean, if he wants to, he still is really good.
So slow it down. You're going to play till you're 40. Slow it down and let Bronny play 1 year and 3/4 in college, and then assess the situation, because he's going to average.
The only thing I will say,
6-7 points a game
is if you do that, there is always the risk, especially as you get older, that you could get hurt and have a catastrophic injury. I mean, he's a freak of nature. I don't even want to say that, knock on wood that it doesn't happen. But as you cross the 40-year-old threshold, and you're all of a sudden you're still playing with explosiveness, and I mean, I hope
you never
not,
know.
But
you never know.
That could happen. Like that.
But
that
you're doing him a disservice, Rob. You're doing your son a disservice in a lot of ways by saying, all right, you're coming off a year where you average 6 points a game and you play 16 minutes a game, which is, I think, what he's going to end up doing. 6 to 8 points a game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, something like that. Whatever the line is, it's not going to be crazy. All right, you can put him in the draft. And as I've told everybody, if I'm the Boston Celtics, and I'm picking 28th, damn right I'm taking Bronny. Absolutely, I'm taking Bronny.
Because you think you can sign his dad on a minimum?
Hell yes. And you're telling me LeBron
would LeBron take the minimum to come play with his son?
Hell yeah. Of course he would. Of course he would. 1,000%. He would take the minimum to win a title with his kid. Think about that. Think about the Celtics with LeBron James.
I don't know. Like there is a level of ego to like making max money. Dude, yes, there is. There's guys that care about that. I'm not saying
when you want to play with your kid for 1 year. I disagree. Man, it's all about your kid. Is
that legal? Is it legal for a player of that stature to take the minimum?
Why not?
No, I guess. I mean, we've seen quarterbacks take less to give teams, like Brady used to do that. We're seeing Shohei Ohtani deferred. I can't fathom that Major League Baseball allows you to defer 98% of your salary, but that's a different deal. Wow. I mean, yeah, I guess if you knew, but
if you're Minnesota,
could that be tampering though?
Why?
Because you've had discussions with LeBron saying, if we draft your son, will you sign for the minimum? Or are you just assuming that you're going to waste a first-round pick?
Who cares? Who cares? It's the 28th pick. I don't care. I could give a shit.
Who are the best 28th picks in the history of the league that would just say, stick this to Jeff Goodman?
I'm just telling you.
There's been good players taking it 28. Like, let's not act like 28 is some spot that's.
I'm not, but I'm willing to roll the dice. Because at worst case scenario, Rob, you know what I have? I have Bronny James. I have him as leverage to trade somewhere else.
Oh,
it's not like I don't have anything. You know what I mean?
No, that's true.
I know right now LeBron has to play with Bronny. So I've got all the leverage in the world. I can trade him to the Lakers if I want.
Yeah, that's
right.
True. If he was back there.
That's what I'm saying. Wherever it is.